Hal was unbeatable. Like the Stephen Hawkings of today, his designers imagined that Dave's human brain was no match for their artificial intelligence. How wrong they were then, and how wrong today. Today's computers are no match for the cunning, devious, and compassionate capability of the most complex entity in the universe, the human brain. In the words of James D. Watson, the scientist who unraveled the genetic code, the brain boggles the mind. And it's so complex that we're only just beginning to discover its secrets. But unlike the ancients, who variously believed that the brain was little more than cranial offal, we now know that the brain's the source of who we are, what we do, and how we do it. It's the seat of our emotions, joy, anger, and wonder. It tells us stories when we're asleep. It tells the time, remembers for us, and makes all our decisions, some 35,000 per day. As we watch this video, millions of signals speed through our brain faster than a racing car. They control our breathing, our heart rate, our balance, and our posture. Through hunger that we need to eat, through thirst that we need to drink, and through fatigue that we need to sleep. How is all this achieved? The latest methods in neuroscience have revealed that the adult human brain holds 86 billion neurons or nerve cells, each of which has up to 200,000 synapses or connections, 85 billion support cells called glia, and a privileged blood flow of 750 millilitres, 1.3 pints, per minute through 100,000 miles of vessels. If we stretch out the connecting fibres in the brain, they would reach to the moon and back. In terms of cost to the body, the brain is an expensive organ. Its weight is just 2% of the total, but it receives some 15% of the heart's output of blood. And in terms of oxygen consumption, it's immensely thirsty, taking 20 to 25% of the total for all our metabolic needs, equating to some 500 calories per day, just for basic running costs. And why this startling level of metabolic privilege? Because the activity of the brain controls not only all aspects of our basic survival mechanisms, body temperature, water level, acidity, blood pressure, hormone regulation, but all our higher level thinking, our social engagement with others, and our emotional control. And in absolute terms, all this using only 15 watts of energy, 1/5 of a 60-watt light bulb. In the most basic terms, however, the brain may be viewed as little more than a bag of salty water. Or to be more precise, a bag consisting of a long folded tube with walls at their most only 5 millimeters thick. How could such a basic structure ever comprise the most elaborate organ in the body? We see the answer to this question in the development of the brain in the human embryo. Our brain begins to take shape at about 21 days after conception as a simple tube, the neural tube. At the front, it greatly expands sideways either side of the midline. These expansions become the cerebral hemispheres, the two halves of our brain. They're not completely separated, but communicate with each other by means of a broad band of tissue, the corpus callosum, or hardened body. Next comes a remarkable development. Starting about 35 days after conception, the front part of the tube migrates upwards and backwards, folding over itself so that the tip lies at the back of the hemispheres. It's during this phase of development that the elaborate folding occurs to give the brain its familiar walnut appearance, as a mass of gyri folds and sulci grooves. This folding takes place for one purpose only: to pack as much brain material as possible into the confines of our cranium. The thin walls of the folding brain surface are what we call the cortex. This, were it to be unfolded, has a surface area of 1.5 to 2 square meters, about the size of 2 pages of a large newspaper. Only in this way can our 86 billion neurons coexist within our 1.4 kilogram brain. The building of the brain is a mammoth task on a tight time frame. Some 250,000 neurons are produced per minute during the course of pregnancy. The neurons are so closely packed that their dark DNA-containing nuclei give a grey tint to the cortex, our proverbial grey matter. And yet the mature brain is so sophisticated that a 2-year-old's is only 80% of its finished size. It doesn't finish developing until about age 25. As they're produced, new cells move to a predetermined area of the brain and then turn into, differentiate into, the specialist cells of that area, such as the thalamus, the hypothalamus, and the frontal lobes. The maintenance of the brain is so important that at least half of it is made up of support cells called glia, which protect and support functioning neurons. There are several types of glia, including oligodendrocytes, which insulate the brain's wiring, or white matter. This white matter, so called because of its fatty content, along with countless fibers, forms the interconnections or connectome between all the brain's 86 billion cells. The hemispheres are connected by transverse fibers, such as those as the corpus callosum, and association fibers link the different regions within the hemispheres. Projection fibers linking the regions downwards to the spinal cord, connecting the brain to the body. Situated above and below the corpus callosum are a number of bodies that together make up a powerful ancient structure, the limbic system. Called our emotional brain, this powerful system includes elements of our thinking cortex, areas such as the hippocampus, and deeper, more primitive structures such as the hypothalamus, amygdala, and thalamus. The hypothalamus is our critical control center, regulating our hormones, sexual behavior, blood pressure, temperature, hunger, and thirst. The amygdala is our powerful anger machine, controlling anger, fear, anxiety, and stress. Then we have the thalamus, a vast processing center for all the sensory information coming into the brain from other parts of the body, such as visual images, sensations including pain, and temperature. Critically, it tells the brain what's going on in and around our bodies and reacts to all of it. It also plays a key role in our arousal or alertness levels. The limbic system has one vital overarching purpose: survival and self-preservation. Connected to the rest of the body by the spinal cord two-way highway, it generates powerful reactions that permeate our whole being. Some behavior we can't explain. Some we can't understand. Some is immensely difficult to control. The red mist of anger, the impulse to flee in terror, the compulsive drive to love, hate, or enjoy. All these deeply felt experiences derive from the uncontrolled activities of our emotional brain. The limbic system is dominated and kept under control by the crushing weight of our social values, learned or not, and stored in our frontal lobes. Temporarily incapacitate the frontal lobes through the anesthetic consumption of alcohol, and uninhibited limbic behavior frequently results: aggression, rage, anger, unbridled lust. permanently disable the frontal lobes by a full frontal lobotomy, a fate suffered by Jack Nicholson in the movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest at the hands of Nurse Ratched, and pacification results as the ability to scheme and plan is lost. And what of the unfolded remainder of the neural tube? It becomes the spinal cord, the two-way highway by which the most functionally advanced parts of the brain receive and convey life-sustaining and, for the most part, subconscious messages for which we give the brain little credit. With few exceptions, information about everything happening in the body finds its way into the brain through the spinal cord and cranial nerves, largely via our thalamus, that vastly powerful subcortical switchboard. And conversely, everything happening in the brain is directed by messages to the body. Without this vital reciprocal control pathway, normal everyday life would be impossible. But with all this complexity, there comes a drawback. There are plenty of things to go wrong. And like any complicated system, the brain has to be looked after. It's only in the last 25 years that research is showing us how to do this. These are the secrets of brain health. How to empower our brains, stay sharp, and stay ahead over the course of our life. These secrets will be the subject of our next videos.